Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day is going wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me. Well, today we're going to create a project for Spellbinders using the clear stamp of the month club kit for March. This month's club kit is called Wonderful Spring, and it has 3 cute little bunnies on there with some floral sprigs that are so pretty. Perfect for Easter and springtime cards. Today we're going to create an Easter card, and I love when images have a little bit of shaded detail in there. I think it makes great images for stamping and doing a faux no-line watercoloring look. Looks like you hand painted it, but you really didn't. So that's what we're going to do today. I have some Nina 80-pound cardstock. We're going to place that in the Misty, and then I'm going to be using my Distress Oxide inks for today's card, but you could use your Distress inks. The difference is the Distress inks will give you a clear image. Oxide inks give it that chalky look. The ink that we're going to start off with is called Antique Linen. We'll ink up both of our bunnies and stamp those. They stamp beautifully, and you can, this looks nice as it is because of the shading detail that are on the images. But I'm going to spread out the color with my water brush. Easy peasy to do, guys. If you don't have a water brush, you could use your paintbrush. Just dip it in water. I wouldn't oversaturate it. You just need a little bit of water to spread that color out. But the lines on it stay, and the color just kind of fades a little bit and spreads out. And again, the oxide inks does leave a little bit of a chalky look, but any oxide ink or distress ink would work perfect for this. Looks like you drew an image, but you really didn't. Okay, that looks really pretty, but I'm going to go one step further and add a little bit of vintage photo. I'm going to go ahead and take my heat gun and dry my panel, and then we'll take our vintage photo. Now I'm not going to go around the whole image with it. I'm just going to go around the edges of the larger one and the tummy of the smaller one. Now I do have a few harsh lines. Easy to get rid of those. If you have a finger dauber, you can go over it with it. I'm just using my blending tool to smooth out those harsh lines. And this is going to give a little bit of added detail to your images. Press down really good. And I love the way this turns out. So if you have any stamps that have that shaded detail, you could do this with flowers too, guys. I encourage you to try it out. Okay, so there's my images. I'm going to go ahead and rosy up the cheeks and the ears with my Distress Oxide Worn Lipstick ink. I am going to dilute it a little bit with some water, just so it's not a bright, bold pink. And this way we can add a little rosy cheeks and some pinkish ears. And basically that's it, guys. It was pretty easy to do this, and in real life it does look like it's hand drawn since there's no black ink lines, which makes it really nice. Okay, I am just going to go over and spread out a little bit of that vintage photo. You don't have to, but I wanted it to blend nicely. And I'll use my scissors and fussy cut each one of these out. Now once they're fussy cut, we're going to work on our background. For my background, I'm going to take some white cardstock. We're going to die cut out a large frame using the Essential rectangle dies. Love these dies. I love the dotted detail. There's so much that you could do with it. So I'm going to take a pretty small rectangle in the set. I think it's the second from the smallest. And then the dotted detail, I already had a frame behind my packaging. I thought we could use that, but another day. So you can see how thick my frame's going to be, and then I think we're going to make a landscape style card. I'm going to take the dotted detail and not put it on the inside. I'm going to put it on the outside of our frame. So it's going to cut out a window with dotted detail on the edges. Now I'm going to keep the inside piece. This way we can add a little bit of color to that. To do this, I'm going to bring in some yellow ink and take one of the flourishes in the stamp set. There's some single flowers and then like a little bouquet, and then there's a swag. I'm going to take the little bouquet. The ink that I'm using is the Fun Stamper's Journey ink. It is called Pineapple Smoothie. I chose this ink because I have some coordinating ribbon that I think would look really pretty for Easter, and it's nice soft yellow ink, kind of going with a vintagey soft Easter feel. I'm going to fill in my entire background, just twisting and turning until I have a background floral pattern there. And then I do want a little bit of definition on each of the flowers. So to do that, I'm just going to use, sometimes I like to put my blending tool ink on the inside of the lid. I'm going to use that ink here. Just tap it with my my brush here, and we're going to go over the flowers with the brown ink. It does pull back quite a bit, but I just wanted a little bit of color in those flowers. I think brown worked out good. Kind of gonna go for a monochromatic look today with the browns and the yellows. Okay, once this is done, I'm gonna go ahead and take some of my ribbon. The ribbon that I'm using is the Pineapple Smoothie that matches the same ink color. It is a gingham ribbon. Love this for Easter cards. And I'm going to go around my entire frame, and it's going to go over the window, but I'll tie a bow towards the top. And after we have our bow tied, I'm going to trim the tails of it. And you can see how it's overlapping on the inside of the window. That's okay. We're going to cover the ribbon mostly on that side with our bunnies. Now the dotted detail on my card, I love when the colored cardstock shows through. So I have some yellow cardstock that coordinates with my ribbon and my ink. We're going to add this directly to our card base. I like to add adhesive behind it and then take my card base, making sure it's covered. It does have adhesive on it, so all I have to do is line it up, press it down, and this way I know I'm guaranteed that those dots will be yellow when I finish my card here. I'm going to do the same thing basically to my print that we just made. I'm going to line up my frame, stick my print underneath my ribbon here, line it up with my frame, tack it down, and then that's going to be perfectly centered. Now for my frame, we're going to flip it around, and I'm going to add foam adhesive behind it. You know, I like to mention on my cards, especially with frames. And so I'm just making sure that my bow is where I want it. This way we can cover the backside with foam adhesive. Because once it's down for good, and you won't be able to adjust your bow, at least not in this card. I'm going to go ahead and add this to my card base, making sure we get that lined up here. And then we'll take our little bunnies. I love the soft colors of spring. I just think it's so pretty. Our bunnies are going to be facing each other, and I did add foam adhesive behind them. And then we're not going to do too much more to the card. I'm going to go ahead and add some white pom-poms to the bunnies' tails. Love doing this with my Easter cards. It does add bulk to your card, so if you plan on mailing it, you might want to skip this step because the pom-poms do add quite a bit of dimension. I'm just going to add some glue, stick down some pom-poms, and then I'm going to stamp our sentiment. There's quite a few sentiments in the stamp set this month. You have Happy Spring, a happy hello, wishing you all the wonderful gifts of spring, and then Easter greetings. I chose Easter greetings for this card. I like the block font of it. I'm going to go ahead and use my paper trimmer and trim this down. I stamped with a dark brown ink, and then I did block off my sentiment. We're going to fishtail the right side, and then I'll flip this around and we'll pop this up with foam adhesive. This is going to go on the inside of my window, just above the heads of the bunnies. I'm going to just fix the tails of my bow, trim them down a little bit more, and I'm not going to add any sparkle to my card. The Distress Oxide inks again give that chalky look, kind of a vintagey chalky look, and I think it just doesn't go with sparkle. But I love the way this looks with the two tones. If you're interested in the stamp set, links are down below, but I wish you a fabulous day. Thank you so much for joining me. We will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.